It is 8:09, 62 degrees on a lovely Thursday morning. Good morning to you, and good morning to our guest on the phone. I'm so happy to introduce you to Eric Troyer of the Orchestra, formerly known as ELO Part II. Good morning. Welcome. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm looking forward to your show. You're coming to my hometown, to Middletown's Paramount Theater on Earth Day, April 22nd. Can't wait.
Oh, it's great. Yes, we are the orchestra starring ELO former members, is how we like to say it.
Okay.
And we're really excited about coming up there. I've been to that town a few times because I have an account with Alto Music, which is one of your
yes,
big
alto
stores
music
up there.
is the best. Yes, I have
I know.
I have a couple of pianos from there. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. So now
Might want to stop in when I come up too. All right. Yes, sorry.
So you play keyboard, and
I do.
I play keyboard too, although you're a professional, and I just kind of, I play at it. But
well, everyone should. And you know how many people come up and say, I wish I'd kept up with those piano lessons that my parents made me. Anyway, yes.
No, I know.
Story.
I took lessons and quit when I was 14 because I knew everything. Then I went back at age 20 because I wanted to learn one piece by Rick Wakeman. And then I went back at 37 and started taking lessons just to, hey, there's things I never learned before. And that's when it really made a difference because nobody was going to yell at me to practice, get out there and practice, because that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's play. That's why you play music, because it lifts you. Tell me how you learned to play piano. Did you have to take formal lessons or did you just figure it out?
Well, I did both. I started when I was, I have two older sisters and they were taking piano lessons. And when I was about 4 years old, the babysitter put the first page of the, piano book, beginner, and showed me how to read music. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And I played, and then they decided, well, you better get lessons because, you're already playing. And it's always great to have an older sibling that you're emulating. And so I was pounding on the piano at about age 4, and then it never stopped.
Wow.
Pounding on the piano.
At age 4, that's pretty good. Yeah, there was one year when my older brother, was playing trumpet, and I was trying to study violin, and I can't imagine what our house must have sounded like. But my mother didn't.
God.
My mother did not murder us, and I give her much credit and many thanks for that. Now, piano is much nicer.
Probably had earplugs. She probably had earplugs.
I bet she did, and she hid them as soon as we got away from our instruments. Oh, that would have been awful. But you play and you sing, but you have sung and played on in so many other works. I didn't realize till I started, doing a little bit of research. Movie soundtracks, the movie soundtrack from Flashdance and Chicago and Footloose, you're in there. And you've sung with John Lennon and with Yoko. And with Taylor Dane, anybody from Billy Joel to Air Supply, Meatloaf and James Taylor. You play keyboards with Kiss. You have had a wonderful career, and it is nowhere near over.
Well, I'm glad you said
that. I'm not trying to summarize. You've had a wonderful life, George Bailey. No, I'm not trying to do that. But you have.
Yes, well, I've done. Yes, you're right. I've been fortunate enough to connect with a lot of people, and I did a lot of singing. Lived in New York City, and and did a lot of sessions. Like you said, Billy Joel, and obviously the highlight of my life was to work with John Lennon on "Woman." Sang on the song "Woman," but got to work with a lot of great artists, and it was so much fun. Right now, I have a studio. I still do a lot of work in the studio. And people send me tracks. I do a lot of vocals and send them out to other recording artists, things like that. But it's mostly done, long distance these days. But I'm still singing and playing and having a lot of fun.
That's wonderful. Now, I read that you are a health nut and a history buff.
Where did you read that? But yes, that's true.
But see, I don't I don't even remember. Right now I'm reading off of notes in my own handwriting that I wanted to ask you about. So what health nut, what does that mean? You told me before we got on the air that you're having your morning coffee. So you do not poo-poo the use of coffee.
Oh, definitely not.
Okay, good.
No, I eat pretty simple. A lot of sort of the Mediterranean diet, and not any red meat actually. Kind of a pescatarian, I would say, and mostly vegetarian, that type of thing. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty good for me. It works for me.
And, well, yes, and you need to stay in shape because your touring is pretty intense. How many shows do you do this year?
Well, we're in line to do probably not that many, maybe 35, 40, something like that. We just did a cruise, the Rock and Romance cruise, which is great. We play Epcot. Every year we do 4 days at Epcot. And we tour. We're touring South America. We do a lot of shows in Europe. And then, spread out during the year all over, the United States. This is one show in New York, and then in May we do some orchestral shows. A lot of times we play with full orchestras, and we're doing 2 shows in Southern Florida with the Southern Florida Symphony Orchestra. So we get around.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. How many band members are there total?
We're sort of a rotating group, 6 or 7.
Okay.
We've got your usual, bass, drums, guitar, violin. Oh, that's not so usual. And Mick Kaminsky from the original ELO, he's playing with us. And then we have an orchestral keyboard player, Lou Clark Jr. Lou Clark Sr. passed away a couple of years ago, and he was the original arranger for all those great ELO albums from, I'm not sure, but, way back in the day.
Way back, yeah.
Out of the blue. He died a few years ago, but his son has taken over, and his son is a fabulous musician. So, yeah, we're 6 to 7 on stage, playing up a storm.
And playing live, no auto-tune. I hear that you absolutely will not use auto-tune. Thank you for that, because you got to hear the real thing. That's all.
Absolutely. When I do stuff in the studio, I do a lot of different types of things. But when we play live, we are singing live. The voices are all being sung right there on the spot.
Mm-hmm. And the instruments are played live, and everything is live. This will be the songs that we love from the Electric Light Orchestra. We will be able to sing along with just about everything, right? What's your favorite ELO song to perform?
Well, Mr. Blue Sky is one of our favorites, and it's a crowd favorite. Turn to Stone, Evil Woman, Sweet Talking Woman, Can't Get It Out of My Head. Wow, it just goes on and on.
It does.
So,
it does.
Don't Bring Me Down, Roll Over Beethoven, Do Ya. So we bang out all the hits.
Do you do any covers by other bands, or is that a secret and you can't tell me yet?
Well, sometimes we have a very interesting cover that we've done of Twist and Shout on an album that we put out a few years ago, and sometimes we play that. I'm not sure that's in the set for this show on the 22nd, but it might be. But that's the only one.
Okay.
Other than that, we pretty much play the repertoire of the songs that you would know from the good old ELO days.
Well, you don't need to do covers by other bands because there were enough hits by the Electric Light Orchestra that we need to hear, that we demand to hear, and that we'll be able to hear. Yes. Yes, April 22nd at Middletown's Paramount Theater. Tickets, if there are any still available, they are at middletownparamount.com. Look them up. This is going to be a show to remember. Eric, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's a pleasure to get to know you and take care of your fingers. You need to be able to play.
I will. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate your time. Eric Troyer of the Orchestra, starring former members of ELO, coming April 22nd to Middletown. Can't wait. Thank you for being here today.